Now the lion has met its match. When Brazil became the superweapon of the tariff war with its rare earth minerals. Just imagine, the world's two biggest powers, America and China, are firing tariff bombs at each other. One says, "Buy American," the other answers, "Made in China 2025. This trade war's fire has spread across the globe. But amid this chaos, a third nation sits quietly, smiling, because it holds a card that could flip the entire game. That nation is Brazil, the country that has now turned into the biggest player in the resource war within the ongoing tariff war. Hidden beneath its land lies a treasure, rare earth minerals, that's keeping the superpowers awake at night. Rare earth. The name may sound rare, but its importance is as vital as oxygen for modern technology. These are the very metals that power every mobile phone, missile, electric car, and satellite. And now the world is realizing the nation that controls rare earths will be the true winner of the wars of the future. Today, China is the world's largest supplier of rare earths. But right behind it stands Brazil, with an estimated 21 million tons of reserves. And this is where the story begins, a story that's making America wonder. Is Brazil about to become the new king of the global supply chain? Brazil has always been rich in natural resources, the Amazon forests, iron ore, oil, and now rare earths. But these rare earths aren't just metals, they are power. Because without them, no electric revolution, no AI revolution, and no defense modernization can ever succeed. Now imagine, as America and China impose tariffs on each other, Brazil holds the perfect opportunity to turn its mines into a geopolitical bargaining chip. The story begins in the second half of 2025, when America imposed tariffs of up to 245% on China. The global supply chain was shaken. From Tesla to Apple, every company started searching for an alternate source of rare earth supply. That's when the world's eyes turned toward Brazil's Minas Gerais and Goiás provinces, where an immense treasure of rare earths was buried beneath the ground. Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who came from a labor background, quickly realized that this was not just a mineral, but political leverage. He declared, "Brazil will no longer remain just an export country. We will also enter processing and manufacturing." And from that very moment, America's heartbeat quickened. Donald Trump, who came back in his new term with aggressive trade policies, imposed 50% tariffs on some of Brazil's agricultural and mineral exports. He said, "Brazil is taking unfair advantage." But the reality was that Brazil was now on the path of breaking America's dependency. And that's when this dialogue made headlines in the media. Now the lion has met a stronger lion. Because for decades, America and China had been in a race for power. But now Brazil had chosen a path where both of them would have to talk to it. The possible meeting between Trump and Lula during the ASEAN summit in Kuala Lumpur became the center of discussion. Lula clearly said, "We are ready to talk, but not on conditions, on equality." That means no one can now call Brazil a commodity supplier. It has now become a strategic power broker. Brazil's mining minister Alexandre Silveira recently said, "The mistrust between China and America has given us a golden window. Now we must not only mine, but also enter refinement and magnet manufacturing." His message was clear. The world now wants not just raw materials, but processed rare earth magnets, which are placed at the heart of electric cars, wind turbines, and fighter jets. In fact, rare earths are a group of 17 elements, including neodymium, dysprosium, and terbium. These form supermagnets, which are the backbone of every modern machine. And until now, 90% of these magnets are produced in China. But if Brazil builds this capacity, it can break China's monopoly. And that is America's biggest nightmare. But the question is, can Brazil do this alone? Here comes an interesting twist. Many Brazilian experts, such as Gilbert Fernandes de Ferrando, believe that if Brazil wants to grow rapidly in this field, it must form a technological partnership with China. Because China has decades of experience, from mining to magnet manufacturing. And the irony is, China is already Brazil's biggest trading partner. Both are members of BRICS, and billions of dollars of Chinese investments are already active in Brazil's automotive and infrastructure sectors. If Brazil moves closer to China, it would be a geopolitical setback for the Trump administration, because it would mean China's influence in South America would become even stronger. However, Brazil has so far refused to join any camp. It is following a policy of multi-alignment, balancing investment from America and technology from China. This strategy has turned Brazil into the new center of global diplomacy. Today, in the world's race for energy transition, rare earths have become the oil of the future. Just as oil-rich countries dominated global power in the 20th century, in the 21st century, rare earth-rich nations will command it. And in this race, Brazil is the second biggest player after China. In Minas Gerais, there are not only rare earths, but also lithium and nickel, which are like oxygen for the EV revolution. Brazil has recently invited several American companies such as MP Materials, Lynas, and Tesla to invest in its mining projects. But the Lula government wants foreign companies not only to mine, but also to participate in processing and local manufacturing. Value addition must happen on Brazilian soil, Lula said in his speech. This thinking of Brazil sets it apart from those developing countries that remained raw exporters for decades. It now wants to create a value chain from its minerals, so that every ton of soil doesn't just yield dust, but dollars. In 2025, Brazil introduced a new policy, the Strategic Minerals Plan 2040. In it, rare earths were declared a national priority. The government set a goal to make Brazil one of the top 3 rare earth exporters in the world by 2030. For this, it opened doors for tax incentives, infrastructure funding, and technology partnerships. Meanwhile, the United States, along with its allies such as Australia and Canada, formed the Minerals Security Partnership. Its purpose was to reduce dependency on China. But when Brazil refused to join this partnership, it caused a stir in Washington. Brazil said, "We are not part of any camp. We will decide our own direction." And that is the country's biggest strength. It is neither east nor west. It is the South, the new face of the global South. Now look at the global picture. The United States wants to secure the supply chain, China wants to capture demand, and Brazil wants to benefit from both. That's why it's playing smart diplomacy between them. On one hand, it is attracting companies like Tesla and Boeing, and on the other hand, giving special incentives to Chinese EV giants BYD and Chery. BYD recently announced a $600 million EV plant in Brazil, which will create 10,000 local jobs. Meanwhile, the American company MP Materials has begun a feasibility study to build a rare earth separation facility in the Goiás region. This means Brazil is now moving from a mining hub to a manufacturing hub. But amidst this geopolitical game, there is another angle, environmental diplomacy. Brazil is home to the world's largest rainforest, and also to environmentalists who oppose mining. The Lula administration now has to strike a balance between development and the environment. Because if mining happens unchecked, an international backlash could follow. That's why Brazil has launched the concept of green mining, promoting extraction powered by renewable energy and minimal waste recycling. Now, global investors have started calling Brazil the next green superpower, a nation capable of extracting rare earths sustainably. If it succeeds in this direction, it could directly challenge China's dominance because the world is now searching for a sustainable supply chain. On the other hand, Brazil's foreign policy has also become highly interesting. Lula recently said, "Our policies are no longer a copy of anyone's. They are a reflection of our needs." He spoke about reviving not only BRICS, but also the Latin American Union so that the Global South can form a collective economic bloc. This means that if Brazil becomes rich because of rare earths, the entire southern hemisphere could rise along with it. Now the question is, how does America view this rise? Washington still wants Brazil to align its trade policies with the US so that the supply of critical minerals remains secure. But the Trump administration's aggressive tariff policy has made this relationship complicated. Because when you impose 50% tariffs on a country's exports, it doesn't bring friendship, it creates distance. That's why experts are now saying a tariff war has turned into a resource war. And in this resource war, Brazil's rare earth treasure has become the biggest weapon. Currently, the global rare earth market is worth around $14 billion. But by 2030, it is expected to surpass $40 billion. If Brazil manages to capture even 15% of this share, it could earn over $6 billion annually, and that too without depending on oil or gas. And that's exactly what could make Brazil the Saudi Arabia of South America. But this time, for rare earths.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.